So why basketball? A lot of the time, like, people might think, what is it about basketball that makes you think that you're maximising human potential? Like, all you're doing is growing a 3-on-3 basketball club in Sydney and helping more people to play basketball. What does that have to do with helping people to be their best selves, or maximising the human potential, or making a difference in the world? And I guess I woke up this morning and I'm like, I really want to work as hard as I possibly can to make the Supersonics happen, because it's going to help me have an impact and have a legacy, and do the kinds of things that I want to do and see the impact that I want to have on the world. When you think about, like, well, is it worth your time investing in that to really make a difference and really make it happen? And I firmly believe that yes, it absolutely is. And to sort of explain why, I want to take this note just to think about it, because what I've realised through my own life is that when I'm having the most fun and enjoying myself the most is when I feel like I am powerful and I'm able to do the things that I feel like I can do at the best that I can possibly do them. And I feel like I'm progressing, and I feel like I have this sense of, wow, I can do that. I never thought I was able to do that. And I can see myself progressing every single day. And there's a quote from Socrates which states, and forgive me if I butcher this quote, but it's, no man should ever live life without experiencing the strength that his body is capable of. And I think it's what a tragedy it would be for a man to live his life without realising the strength of which his body is capable of. And to me, that really ties into the idea of one of my initial businesses, which was Sapiens Health. If you're not familiar, Sapiens is the French word for wisdom. And the reason I chose that was because Sapiens represents this kind of old language, and wisdom, well, I wouldn't say old language, but the idea of wisdom is that we're taking the best of what ideas have stood their ground and stood the test of time. And there's a bunch of literature on ideas that stand the test of time, which I'll actually link to. But it's essentially the half-life of truth and the salience point. I'm not sure the exact phenomena, but the longer an idea has been around for, the more likely it is to be true, because of the half-life of truth, that the vast majority of ideas will be sort of untrue as we go through. And this is a little bit esoteric, but anyway, I'll put some links into that, because that is interesting in and of itself. But the reason why basketball, in my mind, is so important, forgive me, I just took a drink, is because of the fact that it allows us to realise what we're physically capable of, and provides us with an avenue to pursue excellence. I think a lot of people don't understand the concept of mastery, and I'm just reading Tim Grover's Relentless, and a lot of people don't understand kind of the concept of really just striving towards mastery in an activity and striving to be the absolute best that they can possibly be. And in Tim Grover's Relentless, he talks about the analogy of sort of like your cooler, your closer, and your cleaner. And without going into depth about explaining them all, the cleaner is the person who doesn't just go out and close and make it happen once. They're the person who is never satisfied and goes in and cleans up and makes it happen regularly and consistently. And your cleaners in sports and in business are Steve Jobs, your Michael Jordan, your Kobe Bryant, the people who literally never took their state of achievement for satisfaction. So they were always on to the next thing. They loved the process of being excellent, and they loved the trappings of winning. And being a cleaner is goddamn hard, and it requires sacrifice in a lot of other areas. And so, basketball is something that can teach people what it takes to become successful in any particular endeavor, because basketball is one of those sports that, sure, you can be genetically endowed to have a certain level of success, but for the most part, you need to be playing basketball and investing time to getting better at it to actually see tangible improvements in your ability to gain skills and everything like that. And yeah, sure, like if you're taller, you're going to be more suited to the game, but for the most part, basketball really is a skill-based game, and so the more you invest in it, the better you get. And to invest in it, that requires sacrifice, that requires hard work, and that requires an understanding of how to optimize yourself physically, but also mentally, and be present to play well. And it teaches you these really valuable skill sets that are ubiquitous and apply to any area of life. And so the reason I like basketball to help people to maximize human potential is because I see what it does for my own life. I see that when I'm playing basketball, I'm working towards getting better and everything like that. That's the best part of my week. I love it. Like we still have that childlike desire to play constantly, no matter what age we're at. So you go out and hit the basketball court, and that's the best part of your week. And when you hear Kobe Bryant talking about how he liked to play basketball, there was no right or wrong, and there were no failures, because every single failure that he had was simply an opportunity to problem solve and work out a better way to go about it next time. And so that's how, if you treat your games like that, instead of being frustrated at a subpar performance, you analyze how you played. Great if you can get film, and that's something that we really want to do with the Supersonics, is film all of our games. But you can also just remember some of the key plays, and you analyze some of the plays where you might have done well, or you might have not done too well. And then by doing that, you're able to kind of critically analyze where you're at. But also, like, when you train regularly enough, and when you're training sort of upwards of 3 to 4 days per week, and particularly when you're training on your own and not just relying on a coach, you're able to analyze your own weak points and work on them. And then, your training sessions become sort of this chance to work on, the problems that you're facing, and work on the weaknesses, and work on, the things that you need to work on. And it becomes this exciting game because it's a puzzle, and you try something and then it doesn't work, well then you try something else. And that's the advantage of kind of training every day and really making it happen with basketball. And that exact principle applies to business, it applies to any area or field of study where you're self-directed and you need to make it happen. And in the modern world, those are the skill sets that really, really succeed, whether it's entrepreneurship, or being senior in a position in a career. And this might be slightly esoteric for some of the younger individuals listening, but trust me, it really is that. And if you know how to think outside the box and produce results, then you're going to do well in your high school exam, you're going to do well in any single area. And that is the kind of mindset that I find with basketball is really, really powerful. It helps to teach some really, really good skill sets. And so the other thing that I quickly want to touch on is also the element of what we're hoping to do with the Sonics with this. So through the Sonics, we want to teach people all of the ways to kind of self-actualize through basketball, but then connect the basketball elements to other elements of life so that we can create well-rounded individuals that know about a lot of things, that are interested in general intelligence, that connect their ability to be amazing at basketball with their ability to be innately intelligent and why that's important, and then also kind of connect it to sort of business and the top mindsets of the highest performers. So that's why I love basketball, because it's kind of a gateway to excellence and a gateway to achieving amazing things. And it's not necessarily a given that you're going to achieve amazing things because of basketball, but in my experience, by playing a sport and really trying to do it well, it makes achieving amazing things that much more fun and that much more likely.